Bonjour mes amis, bonjour à tous. Je m'appelle Hey, wait a minute. I'm not French, but I am wearing a little French beret today. Why not? Maybe I'll have some French food today. I hope so. Hey, guys, here it is. Me, David Elliott, Evangeline Mudd, and the golden-haired apes of the icky nasty jungle. Andrea Wesson. We're going to read today chapter 14, Pickaflea's Paradise. Well, we'll find out what that means in a minute, but I wanted to show you a little bit something else that I keep on my desk. This is something else that I love. It's this little box. It's a little black lacquer box. It's from Korea. This was a gift from the mother of an exchange student that stayed with us for a while. And it's inlaid with mother of pearl. See those shiny things there? See how they shine? I love that. Little birds on the top and on the side. And I use this to keep my flash drives. And that's really good because I'm always losing things. And when I do school visits, I need those flash drives. So that is what I keep them in there. And now I don't lose them. Okay. Chapter 14. Let's see what's up. Oh, let's see. Yesterday, Evangeline discovered that Dr. Pickaflea, Dr. Aphrodite Pickaflea, had a brother named Rexy. Chapter 14. Pickaflea's Paradise. It would be hard to describe all that went through Evangeline's head when she heard that Dr. Aphrodite Pickaflea had a brother. The closest thing it can be compared to is the moment you discover that your teacher has a first name. Up to that time, she had only been Miss Wangdoodle or Mrs. Buttonhole, and her sole purpose in life was to teach you to spell or to show you how to do subtraction. But once you actually hear someone, another teacher perhaps, or maybe even your parents, call her Desdemona or Winifred, all that changes. You suddenly realize that your teacher is a person with a first name, a person who has a whole life that has nothing to do with you. After that, the way you feel about your teacher can never be the same. This is something like what Evangeline was feeling. Up to the very second Dr. Pickaflea said that she had a brother, Evangeline had thought of her only as the person who had rescued her from Mud's Manor. Wait, I'm going to read that again. That was bad. This is something like what Evangeline was feeling. Up to the very second Dr. Pickaflea had said that she had a brother, Evangeline had thought of her only as the person who had rescued her from Mud's Manor, the person whose sole and utter purpose in life was to help her find out what had happened to her parents. Now, as it turned out, Dr. Pickaflea had a family of her own, a family that had nothing to do whatever with her, Evangeline Mudd. One question after another began to jump into Evangeline's head. They were like people pouring from a crowded train onto the platform. You have a brother? Is he an older brother or a younger brother? How often do you see him? What does he look like? What about your parents? These and hundreds more rushed out, but the first one that found its way from the platform to her mouth was, "What is your brother doing in Icky Nasty?" The flying monkey shuddered a bit as Dr. Pickaflea caused it to drop altitude. Through the holes in the clouds, which seemed to be growing thicker and darker, Evangeline could see that the itty-bitties were gradually giving way to larger and larger islands. "But Evangeline, dear," said Dr. Pickaflea, "I thought you knew." "Knew what?" Evangeline almost shouted. "I don't know anything." "Icky Nasty is my home," Dr. Pickaflea replied. "It's where I grew up." So that was the source of Dr. Pickaflea's accent. Icky Nasty. "Of course, I haven't lived there in years," Dr. Pickaflea continued. Tell me, the girl demanded, hugging Pansy to her. Tell me everything. Dr. Pickaflea fiddled with the controls, and the flying monkey gradually began a descent through the clouds. There isn't really a great deal to tell, she began. I was born in Bababun. My father was a fisherman. My mother kept a garden. What about Rexy? Evangeline asked. Rexy came along when I was 7 years old. He was a cunning baby. Everybody said so, and we thought he would grow up to do great things. Our first hint that perhaps we were wrong was when he spoke his first word. Mama? Evangeline guessed. Dr. Pickaflea shook her head. Dada? I'm afraid not, Dr. Pickaflea said. Evangeline tried one more time. Kitty? No, said Dr. Pickaflea. Not Mama or Dada or Kitty. Money. Rexy's first word was money. Evangeline thought what with the roaring of the engines, she hadn't heard Dr. Pickaflea properly. At first, we tried to tell ourselves that he was trying to say Mama, said Dr. Pickaflea explained, but it soon became clear that Mama wasn't enough for him. Nothing was. If my mother used the extra money she had earned at market to buy him a mango, he wanted 2 mangoes. If she bought him 2 mangoes, he wanted 4. He was simply impossible to satisfy. By now, the flying monkey was completely surrounded by the clouds. Outside the cockpit windows, the very air had turned white. Please don't stop, Evangeline said. I want to know everything. Things went on this way for many years, Dr. Pickaflea continued, all of us trying to satisfy Rexy. Rexy never satisfied. Finally, after the great storm that destroyed our little bamboo house and carried my parents out to sea, I left Icky Nasty to become a primatologist. But what about Rexy? Evangeline asked. He stayed on, said Dr. Pickaflea. He said that he had some plans that would finally put Icky Nasty on the map. What kind of plans? Evangeline asked. Very bad plans, I'm afraid, Evangeline dear. You see, Rexy loved the jungle too, but for a very different reason. He said that when he looked at the jungle, with each tree growing so close to the next, it always reminded him of something. What? Evangeline asked. What did it remind him of? A wallet stuffed with money, Dr. Pickaflea replied. Dr. Pickaflea cleared her throat, and Evangeline wasn't sure, but thought she could see a tear forming in the corner of Dr. Aphrodite Pickaflea's eye. After a moment, in which Dr. Pickaflea busied herself fidgeting with the flying monkey's controls, she continued. One of his plans was to turn the jungle into an amusement park. Pickaflea's Paradise, he called it. He wanted to tear down all the trees and build the world's longest and highest roller coaster. Of course, he didn't get away with it. When I heard about it, I organized a resistance group, but in the end, Rexy abandoned the idea of Pickaflea's Paradise on his own. Dr. Pickaflea went back to fidgeting with the controls. Evangeline remained silent. She knew that Dr. Pickaflea would continue with her story when she was ready and able to. In the meantime, Evangeline concentrated on trying not to like the idea of the world's longest and highest roller coaster. Rexy realized that tourists are not apt to come to a place that is absolutely crawling with spiders who would like nothing better than to have them for lunch. It rather ruins a holiday. For the first time since she had heard of them, Evangeline was grateful for the spiders. She didn't want to see one, of course, but she was glad they had thwarted Rexy's awful plan. The ride was suddenly very bumpy. Pansy was clinging to her for dear life. What's Rexy up to now? Evangeline asked. I don't know. Oh, Dr. Pickaflea replied. But whatever it is, it can't be any good. She grabbed a lever and slowly pushed it forward. The flying monkey trembled as it began a slow descent. Hold on, dear. This part's a little tricky. Evangeline grabbed hold of the seat bottom. Do you think, she said, do you think he had anything to do with my parents disappearing? I can't say for certain, said Dr. Pickaflea as she slowly pulled back the lever that lowered the flying monkey's landing gear. It's always a mistake to judge too quickly, but I have to admit that that's what I'm afraid of. Suddenly, the flying monkey broke through its blanket of clouds. In spite of the heavy rain that pounded the plane from all sides, Evangeline could see a long, uneven shoreline. The sea that met it was dark and murky and leapt up onto the trunks of trees whose long, thin roots reached down into the water like the gnarled fingers of ancient monsters. Icky nasty, said Evangeline. Icky nasty, Dr. Pickaflea responded. Well, the plot thickens, right? Let's take a look at, here's the flying monkey with Evangeline and Pansy and Dr. Aphrodite Pickaflea descending onto Icky Nasty. Look, there the tree. If you look closely, I'll try to hold it really close. You can see them all in there. There's Pansy. And when I wrote the book, see right there where my little finger is, where my pinky is? Those are the trees with the long roots reaching down into the water. And I was thinking, actually, of mangrove trees. And mangrove trees are trees that grow in swampy, brackish water near the ocean. And they have long roots that grow down into the water. You could probably find some on the internet to take a look at a picture of mangrove trees. And I actually lived in a country where there were many mangrove swamps. Maybe that's what I was thinking of when I wrote this, when I was trying to think of what Icky Nasty looked like. Well, guys, that was chapter 14. Oh, we better see what chapter 15 is. Can't believe we're moving through this book so quickly. Let's see. Oh, chapter 15. Bababun, bababun, bababun. Well. Okay. What will you do for the rest of the day? I am going to work in the garden a little bit. I'm going to write a little bit too. And I'm also painting the living room. So I got to work on that. I sound like I'm really busy, but really, guys, I'm kind of lazy. Oh, well. Guys, think good thoughts today. Think about other people today. Try not to feel sorry for yourself. Try to feel lucky. That's good. Okay, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.